To start the OT Specialist Assessment form in LAS, first navigate to the adult's open case. The case can be accessed on the person's LAS record via the green C or by going to the Care Pathway area. Once in the open case, select Start New Assessment and then choose OT Specialist Assessment. Double-check the dates and amend them if necessary, and then select Confirm. You'll then have the option to copy forward the answers from any previously completed forms such as contact records or assessments. Simply select the form you wish to copy forward and then select Copy Forward Selected. Otherwise, select Start Blank to generate a completely blank assessment. The OT Specialist Assessment tab contains basic information about the adult, and these answers will have pulled through from the person's record if they've already been added. Halfway down the page, you'll find the Financial Questions section, which contains Adult Social Care's financial statement. You'll need to confirm whether you have read the statement to the adult or not, and if you answer no, LAS will ask you to provide some details as to why. There are two further questions in the section, one asking if the person has capital of over £23,250 and one asking if the person needs to be exempt from any setup fees. Questions around smoking risks, referrals to the East Sussex Fire and Rescue Service and linked smoke alarms continue to be mandatory. A mandatory question is any question written in red text. All mandatory questions must be answered before a form can be finalised. If you try to finalise a form but have missed a mandatory question, LAS will take you to the question you have missed. The Supporting You in Explaining Your Situation tab allows you to add information around any communication difficulties and support the adult may need to communicate more easily. Guidance notes can be viewed by checking the Show Guidance Notes box, which is located at the top of this page and every other page within the form. The guidance is designed to support you while you complete the form and can be hidden at any time by selecting the Show Guidance Notes box again at the top. Within the Communication Difficulties and Support section, the question Do you have sensory needs is a dynamic question, meaning that further questions might appear if you answer yes. And if you answer yes to the next question that appears, Do you have dual sensory needs? Then the Disability Register section will appear further down the page. Special factors can be added on this page, and anything you add here will be added to the person's LAS record too. At the bottom of the page, you'll find the Involvement section. To add new rows to the tables, use the green plus symbol. And to remove rows, select the red cross and then click OK. The Your Life Now and How It Might Change for the Better tab is for you to add information around what has led to the completion of the assessment and what has helped the adult to manage in the past. The Are You Currently Recovering from Illness question is a dynamic question. If you answer yes, a text box will appear below for you to enter further information. The Your Outcomes page contains the Care Act headings and text boxes for you to enter the information. The information put into these three text boxes will copy forward into the Summary and Next Steps page. Therefore, the information in the free text boxes needs to be clear and concise. The guidance notes are available again on this page and are designed to support you in completing the assessment. You may want to consider using bullet points in these text boxes so your information is easy to read. Once you've clicked into a text box, the formatting options will appear in the top right-hand corner of the box. Select the bullet point option to add bullet points to the boxes. You also have the option of changing the color of the text, as well as some other formatting options like making the text bold. Within the free text boxes, OTs should be stating whether the person has reported or whether the OT has assessed. The Health Outcomes question is a mandatory question. To add health conditions, select the Update Records link and use the drop-down options to select the relevant condition. If you select the Other option, A text box will appear underneath for you to manually type the health condition. You are only able to add one condition per selection. If the adult has multiple health conditions, you'll need to add one at a time until all conditions have been added. At the bottom of the page, you will find the measurements table, which contains 3 text boxes for measurements to be added where necessary. In your support networks, family, friends and neighbours, there are a couple of text boxes for information and an area for editing the person's relationships. To edit the person's relationships, use the Click to Edit Relationships link. Then select Search the system for related people. Search for the relation and select their name from the search results list and click Select at the top of the screen. Select any of the role boxes if necessary, enter the correct relationship type, and then select Add on the far right hand side. Then select Save and then Close. Lastly on this page, there is a mandatory question asking if the carer would benefit from a carer's assessment or review. In staying safe and managing risk, you can identify any risks. Once you have selected one of the risks, a mandatory question will appear below asking if a risk assessment is required. And if you say yes, you can then click the Start Risk Assessment Form link and a form will be generated and will be in your work tray in LAS awaiting completion. Use the text boxes to add any further information. In Summary and Next Steps, you'll find the Next Steps radio buttons. The appropriate radio button should be selected here, and the page also contains the Summary of Your Goals table. The Outcomes column shows information copied forward from the Your Outcomes page. The Plan Next Steps column contains 3 text boxes with the option for bullet points and other formatting. The Number of Therapeutic Goals column is a mandatory column, so none of the boxes in the column can be left blank. 0 will need to be written in the box if no goals have been identified. Further down the page, the support reasons need to be added if they have not been already. This is to allow for a care and support plan to be generated at a later time. Completion details is for you to add an outcome. Progress to support planning/services needs to be selected if the case will eventually lead to a care and support plan. Once the assessment is complete and you're ready to finalise it, select Finalise Assessment in the top right-hand corner. At this point, LAS will take you to any missed mandatory questions you may have missed, or it will give you the option to confirm you wish to finalise the assessment. On the following page, use Amend the Assessment if you need to return to the form to make changes. Otherwise, select Complete the Assessment. You'll then need to send your assessment for approval, or select Skip Approval if your manager is happy for you to do so.